Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that this meeting gives you a nice window into what we have going on here. We have some amazing programs that are running, and some incredible people also who've stepped up and really helped get things rolling and helping to move things forward to improve outcomes and quality of life for people with tethered cord syndrome. Yeah, we're gonna have a chance to show you kind of what we're doing to help educate providers and educate the public about tethered cord and the steps that we're taking and the steps that we're gonna get to continue taking in the future to improve those outcomes that for everyone that's been touched by this. So go ahead, Kaylee, to the next slide. All right, so the Tethered Cord Support Alliance was founded on this fundamental mission, which is to improve medical care and quality of life for individuals with tethered cord syndrome. And this is the basis for everything we're doing. It's the whole goal is we're trying to improve the medical care that people are receiving and also their quality of life, whether they're diagnosed already for a long time or whether they haven't been diagnosed yet. These goals help further that. Also, you know, if they had surgery for tethered cord as a baby or as an adult, and no matter where their symptoms fall on that spectrum of, you know, very mild or almost nothing to very severe symptoms, all of those people can use these programs and these initiatives that are helping not only providers and the public to, but also helping improve the way we look at tethered cord and the way we treat it. So the specific goals that we have are to raise awareness of tethered cord syndrome among physicians, patients, and the public, provide a reliable central resource that people can turn to for information about tethered cord syndrome, establish a patient advocacy program to assist individuals in finding and accessing appropriate care, support research and legislation that will lead to increased understanding of and improved care, and illuminate paths to community and connection for those with tethered cord syndrome. So a little bit of history for you here. The Tethered Cord Support Alliance was founded back in December of 2024. So we're going on a couple years now, a year and a half. And it was founded because there was just such a need for change in the system. There were a few of us that got together and based on lots of input from the community, lots of community members who are saying, hey, like there's a problem here. There's a lot of change that needs to be made and a lot of potential for improving the system that we're facing when we're trying to get care for this condition. So we got together and we said, let's do it. Let's make an organization. And it happened, and it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to see the amazing people who have jumped on board. We've reached out to some of the best people in the country, the experts who just really are pushing this forward, and they're saying, yes, we'll help you. This is needed. We want to push this forward and make it happen. And that's been amazing. And we're not done yet. We're going to keep going and keep making progress and see what happens. So some of the people that are part of this, I just want to introduce really quick our amazing board of directors here. First of all, me, hi, I'm the president. Some of the things I do are just guiding the growth and direction of the organization, helping us with that, and building policies, obviously with input from everyone and lots of really smart people who are helping us make sure we do things exactly the way they should be doing. And then also helping coordinate a lot of the educational resources that we are able to put out, just making sure that the right people are developing them, the right people are checking off on them, and helping us figure out what is needed also. And then I also facilitate the Tethered Tuesdays parent and child support group. our vice president, Melanie Ramsey. She started the Tethered Tuesday support group way back before our organization even was a thought in anyone's mind. And amazingly volunteered to come and join that and bring that to the table. And she is just a fantastic advocate for people. She's the best person I know at communicating and integrating people into a conversation and being able to say, hey, like, let's figure out what your needs are right now and help you work through them. And yeah, that's been awesome to watch. And she also created a resource guide so that we can kind of have all of those resources that come in from people from her groups, so that they're all in one place. So when someone's looking for a document maybe or a article information, they can find it a little more easily. And yeah. And then Kaylee Best, she's the best. We're so happy to have you, Kaylee. She's our secretary. She also coordinates the peer support program. So when people come to us and say, "Hey, I'd like some extra support," she helps us train. That also train the agents who provide that support, but she's able to connect them with someone who has been there before and knows what they're talking about, and then those two people can get on a Zoom call or a telephone call and provide support for each other. Yeah, she helps us with a bunch of other stuff too. We throw all kinds of stuff at her and she says, sure. So thanks, Haley. All right, and Courtney is our treasurer. Yeah, Courtney is one of those just powerful foundational voices in the tethered cord community that um, she has tons of experience with business and management and also tethered cord and advocating for that and kind of helping that be more visible and helping people care about it more. And she also just really knows what she's doing as far as the finances go and keeps us all in line there. So yeah, that's Courtney. And Kimberly Orson, she couldn't join us tonight, but she is our newsletter coordinator. So she designs the newsletters and makes sure they get out every month, so we can reach people with that information that they need and are looking for, and helps with all the technical stuff with that also. And she is a designer too. She's really good at just the visual design. So that is our board of directors. And Danielle Joliffe, she's on here tonight too. She is a fantastic physical therapist. She provides specialized care to patients that have complex conditions, and she also has a daughter who has tethered cord syndrome. She's a member of our medical advisory board and has kind of really spearheaded the production of a lot of really great physical therapy resources that we're able to have on our website. So when people are looking for information, they can go there and find a document that they can look at and understand what the goals are themselves, but also share with providers so that everyone just knows a little bit more. And so yeah, Danielle is representing our medical advisory board tonight. So I'll go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Okay, it is an honor to be representing the medical advisory board. The people on this board are really, really leading the way in tethered cord support, tethered cord research, tethered cord patient advocacy. So it's each one of these people could have their own long introduction, but I will quickly go through and introduce kind of each one. Kara Saperson is a board certified pediatric urologist at St. Luke's Children's Hospital in Boise, Idaho, which specializes in bowel and bladder conditions common in tethered cord. Dr. Jeffrey Greenfield is board certified pediatric neurosurgeon, at Weill Cornell, in New York City. He is the creator and director of the Chiari Care Program and has developed an international reputation caring for children and adults with Chiari malformation, tethered cord, and other associated conditions. Dr. Petra Klinge is an internationally respected neurosurgeon, researcher, and clinician who has profoundly impacted and advanced the understanding of tethered cord syndrome and related disorders. Dr. Klinge is a professor of neurosurgery at Brown University and practices at Rhode Island Hospital and Hasbro Children's Hospital, where she cares for both pediatric and adult patients with complex spinal and cerebrospinal fluid disorders. They really are leading neurosurgeons in this realm of tethered cord care. So it's an honor to have them on the medical advisory board. They've both also given some webinars that are on the website as well. We'll talk about those in just a moment. Dr. Linda Bluestein is a board-certified anesthesiologist. She's the founder of Hypermobility MD and the host of Bendy Bodies podcast, which is a pretty well-known podcast. I think she has over 1 million listens that specializes in hypermobility spectrum disorders, EDS, tethered cord syndrome, POTS, and mast cell activation syndrome. So those are wonderful physicians who have joined the medical advisory board. There are also a couple physical therapists other than myself. Susan Chilela is an internationally recognized physical therapist with over 30 years of experience. She is the founder of the Chilela Physical Therapy Institute for EDS and cervical instabilities. She's an internationally recognized speaker on topics including tethered cord syndrome, upper cervical instability, EDS, hypermobility disorders, and she's devoted much of her practice to treating individuals with occult tethered cord syndrome. Patricia Stote, her specialties include those with hypermobility spectrum disorder, EDS, as well as upper cervical instability and vascular compressions and spinal cord tethering at her own practice in outside of the Denver, Colorado area. It's called Elevation Wellness. She has contributed to multiple publications in peer-reviewed literature and several books as well on these topics. And then there's myself, who hasn't. Yes, I came mostly from the world of orthopedics and have been much transitioning into the world of tethered cord syndrome and advocating for care after going through it with my daughter. Okay. All right, some of the educational programs and things that the Medical Advisory Board kind of helps contribute to. A couple are the quarterly webinars that I talked about earlier. Dr. Klinge has done one, Dr. Greenfield has done one. There's one by Dr. Gilmore. And then coming up in July, there will be an additional one by a panel of physical therapists to talk about potential rehabilitation strategies for tethered cord syndrome. So you can mark your calendars for that. It's July 14th. In person, I'm going to save the in-person conference for the end of this one. Educational resources can be found on the website. So we can switch over under the resources page. This is an excellent place to go find all resources related to tethered cord. So I'll give it a minute to kind of catch up there. So on this page, you'll find different documents that have either recommendations or ideas from our physical therapists on the medical advisory board on how physical therapy may be helpful in preoperative settings and other related settings. More to come on educational documents in there. There's a list of related specialties of just people and physicians that you might see throughout your interactions with tethered cord syndrome and the different things that kind of come along with it. And then there's a very helpful glossary of terms. And sometimes the medical languages in the appointments can be very overwhelming. Sometimes it's just really hard to kind of hear all of the different words and not necessarily know where they go or what they mean. So the glossary is a really helpful way to just have that separated out. The educational accommodations letter can be a great resource to think of different ways to have different accommodations throughout the schools and the educational settings for different things that may or may not be impacting kind of throughout the day. Good. I think that comes over there. Provider outreach. There we have and are working on sending information out to providers who kind of specialize in treating patients or have patients with tethered cord or interested. So if you are a provider or know a provider and would like some of these educational resources to be sent to you, you can either put it in the chat, and you can drop it in there right now, or you can email at hello@tetheredcord.com. And so you can send those out. And then you can stay tuned for upcoming conference information. We are hoping and working on, in the works of, a conference in 2027. So stay tuned for more details on that. I'm going to turn it back over to Rebecca.
You're muted, Kaylee.
Haley, go ahead.
Thank
Haley's going to talk to us
you.
about the peer support program.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. So I'm Kaylee. I'm a mom to a sweet 6-year-old daughter who we had diagnosed with tethered cord when she was 3. I first became involved with the Tethered Cord Support Alliance here in the summer of 2025 as a peer support mentor. I had the joy and honor of walking alongside others in their journeys, which was honoring and healing to them as well as much to me, to walk through that experience again with others and provide them some support that I wish I had early on in that journey. I've never met anyone in person yet that has experienced this tethered cord journey, but meeting online has been so meaningful because it is so rare. And so then this year in February, I joined on the board as a secretary and took on the role as a peer support program coordinator. And it's been a joy to see all the amazing work Rebecca and Melanie have done, training people, helping them feel empowered to support each other through this journey and knowing that we don't have to be alone. So far, we have 17 peer support program agents trained, and we have quarterly training scheduled throughout the year. We got lots ready for our August training, and we have spots available for more if anyone's interested there. And since this program started, we've made over 20 connections between agents and those going on the journey. But beyond the numbers, what's most important is that no one has to walk this tethered cord journey alone. And that's the heart of this program, and that drives absolutely everything we do. And it's a delight next to hand this over to Melanie, who can talk more about group support.
I sure can. Hi, everybody. I am Melanie Ramsey, and a little backstory to Tethered Tuesdays. As someone who was diagnosed with tethered cord in adulthood, it became clear to me very quickly that we needed to organize. So, in March of 2023, I started a weekly public Instagram story series on my recovery from tethered cord release surgery. And then by September of 2023, I had a nice little group of others, and we took it to Zoom. And I just started opening up a Zoom room and inviting other adults to come and talk about their tethered cord experience, for myself included, for my own recovery and to learn. So our virtual support groups, as you can see here, include sessions now for adults, parents, and children. I'm so excited that we expanded this into other demographics. We needed to share, and we needed credible information. So a big part of Tethered Tuesdays is us sharing, whether that's scholarly articles, clinicians that we've found helpful, physical therapy models, supplements, all these supportive therapies But we can't do that work alone. So our support groups often act as our first point of contact with patients and the folks who love them. So this is where we level set what's normal, what's not normal. That's often a question that we get. Should this be happening? And just watching the relief of another group of people nodding along and understanding can be huge to fight, the isolation and sometimes that comes with rare disease and chronic illness. So let's see, let me get back on my notes here, right here. Our groups are international. We're English speaking, but we're international, and we have people join us from all over. And it's such a blessing to see the same people show up week after week and see the relationships that formed and the peer experiences that are shared. Like, we have some really amazing advocates who encourage each other and push each other and help each other to get the best care possible. So our support groups really act as just like a casual meeting ground. You can drop in anytime, people come and go. We have regulars that come back week after week and connect outside of the groups. So these groups really aim to close the gap between appointments and offer connection beyond text-based or message board support communities. Those are really helpful, different online support groups, but seeing other individuals visually, again, like I said, not along with your experience is incredibly powerful. The next slide, what I'll talk about here is webinars, resources, and our content library. So I want to thank, first of all, we have a web developer that's been working with us this year who would like to remain anonymous, but who has helped us shape this website over this past year into this amazing resource library. So I definitely want to shout them out. And we'll start off the top here with these webinars. Our neurosurgeons who have presented, who are on our medical advisory board, have done such a service to our community by presenting these educational webinars. All of them are available for rewatch on our website at our resource library and offer not only their own, perspective, research, a lecture, but question and answers from our community, which is what we need. And they're listening to us. You can rewatch all of these webinars, like I said, on our website, and we have many more to come, and we'll talk about that in a second. This is a big flagship of the things that we're producing, like I said, from the ground up that did not exist yet. And back to Tethered Tuesdays, a lot of what we talk about in those Tethered Tuesdays support groups, whether it's the pediatric side or the adult side, we end up talking to our medical advisory board, and those become the topics for our next webinar. So like, we're really feeding one program and come out of the peer support program into the resources we're creating. We're not creating these in a bubble. We're creating them with, y'all's in mind. So the downloadable fact sheets, that's something that Danielle talked about earlier. I love that these are available 24/7. You can be sitting in the waiting room at a doctor's appointment and pull these up. You can print them out and bring them with you to appointments. You can print them out and give them to your friends and family, or perhaps if if you have a pediatric case, to your children's educators, if they're going to summer camp, if they're going to a new babysitter's house, and people can get a really quick sort of download on what some of the needs and symptomology are of tethered cord. So again, these things did not exist before. I'm so proud that we have them on our website. Some additional resources that we have as well, which is brand stinking new, are these handouts for physical therapists. There is no, in my knowledge, there are no pre-op, post-op, non-op protocols that are on the books for tethered cord. They don't exist, but they do now. So I'm very excited that we are at the forefront of that. And our newsletter, like we mentioned earlier, Kimberly Orson, who puts together a newsletter, that archive is up at any time. You can search those archives, and we have personal stories talking about some of our upcoming events, talking about the ways, the personal connections that our organization tries to highlight specific cases. And again, like, when you share your story with us, that does not just go nowhere. That gets fed into our newsletter and then shared with others. So at any point, these are available 24/7 on our website, and they're continuing to grow week after week and month after month. I believe we have 17 like fresh new resources this year. It's very exciting. Yeah, I definitely also just want to thank our I mentioned it before, but thank our neurosurgeons who presented and our upcoming clinicians who are presenting. Without them, we'd only be the patient side. So it's very valuable to us. All right, impact. Through the power of the internet, we have created global resources. So Rebecca shouted us out earlier. Rebecca, a big shout out to her. She tirelessly works to unify our voice whether it's Google AdWords, helping people find us, reaching out to the right person, the right clinician, the right institution, and it's because of her that we have this amazing reach. So we had over 1,700 website visitors from 35 different countries and 6 different continents. And that does not just happen, accidentally. And we have, again, great international participation in a lot of our programs. So again, the 3 educational webinars with 552 live participants. You guys are live participants now. You'll be added into our ranks, and over 1,400 video views. We have a YouTube account where all of our video content lives. And then again, that's available 24/7, and people find us every day through that. 164 plus participants in our 2026 Tethered Tuesday group. So that's just data from the beginning of the year, the last 6 months. I can't wait to see what our final year-end totals look like. Like Kaylee mentioned, over 20 peer support connections made, again, growing every day. And 578 newsletter subscribers. People want to know what we're doing. And I think that just goes to show that Tethered Cord is not this small little thing anymore. People are definitely seeking quality information because it is not there. So we're trying to provide that. Our online meter library, which we already discussed, with 17 dedicated Tethered Cord resource files and growing every day. And this is very exciting. This number is probably more than this. We're underreported, but 1,474 recorded volunteer hours. So that's not only us, that's our peer support agents, that's people who create contests for us, content writing, like I said, our newsletter. And again, we're hoping to expand that even more so. And if you'd like to volunteer for us, stick around and stay tuned, and we'll talk about how you can get more involved in volunteering. All right.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about some of our future events, which we've already highlighted a bit. Thank you, Danielle. And coming up next, July 14th there, we got the rehab strategies for people with tethered cord. And you'll see come August 18th, save the date there, about genetic disease and tethered cord. And then we're going to have Klinga back, Dr. Klinga, for September 15th on the history of occult tethered cord, which I appreciate hearing from her all the time, and her great wealth of knowledge, as well as her amazing compassion and care that she has for patients. And then the Medical Advisory Board's looking to prepare a year in review of all the new research to highlight. It's such a growing area, which brings me so much joy that the knowledge we have keeps growing, and that we'll be able to better care for those with tethered cord going forward. Also very exciting, we are all looking forward to putting together a conference. We are looking at 2027 right now, and this would be for patients, caregivers, as well as medical providers. And for those medical providers, PTs, neurosurgeons, pediatricians, and things, we will be providing continuing education credit sessions that will be eligible there. So stay tuned for more information. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter and everything so you get that highlighted. As well as we're continuing all our beautiful connections we have in our group support, as well as our medical advisory board is consulting, making sure they highlight new research to us and all those wonderful things. And if this feels exciting to you, interesting, if you have a passion to grow this area, either in supporting others or in growing knowledge, please reach out to us. There are so many different areas that we can find where your passion links up with an area of need that we have. And our volunteers, sometimes volunteer as little as an hour a month, and some do a lot more, and anywhere in between. It's really about the capacity and passion that each person has and what they can share. We all understand living with a chronic illness that impacts our ability to engage, and sometimes things pop up and we reschedule, and we all completely understand that sort of thing. So if you want to volunteer, but you're worried about those sorts of things, just reach out. We can have a conversation. We're happy to chat and figure out where would be a nice spot for you to fit. Some of the different opportunities, I would be the one to connect with about peer support agents. So there is a application form online to say, hey, I'm interested, and then I'll connect with you, send an email and say thank you so much, and also then set you up with our next training session. If that one doesn't work, we do them out throughout the year. Some other areas that we are looking for support, graphic design, not my specialty. I'm much more about just writing things out and somebody else makes it pretty. We do have some amazing people on our team that do some great graphic design, including Melanie and Kimberly, and that's an area we can grow so that we can keep putting out new flyers and information and educational materials. Social media coordinator would be amazing too, to get more information out there, keeping that updated and keeping that engagement up, so that it'll push out our information to more people because we have somebody who's constantly engaging with the account. We're also looking at sponsorships with businesses, support, finding grants, applying for them, all that. And then accessibility specialists helping us make sure that we can provide people with different needs that they have to access our groups, to access our information, help find our blind spots. What are we missing? How can we better support people is our main goal. And there's many, many other areas that we would like to expand. So if you think, oh, hey, this isn't on the list, but I'm really good at something else, let us know. Let us know you're excited and passionate, and we are happy to meet with you and see where we can plug you in to support moving the needle forward to making sure more clinicians are aware of tethered cord and more patients feeling supported and heard. And I'll hand it over to Courtney there.
Thank you, Kaylee. So what we have here, well, I guess let me introduce myself first. My name is Courtney Morales Hoffman, and I am serving as the treasurer here of TSCA. And I also got involved with Tethered Cord in 2023. We were on a very long, arduous journey for my son to get diagnosed. He finally got diagnosed in 23 after a 3-year journey. And after that diagnosis, we got picked up by the Today Show, and our article went viral. And from there, I actually was able to do some advocacy work on the medical side and getting more physicians trained on exactly what it is that tethered cord is and how do we attack it from the beginning and save people this journey. And then this group came about, and Melanie and Rebecca, it would be remiss for me not to say they have dug deep and they have been the backbones. I use that pun intentionally, the backbones of this community and this effort that has moved forward. So I'm very excited to present the financial results. As everyone mentioned, we began in December of 24. So our real first year was last year as we came together, got everything underwritten and moving forward. And then when we moved into 26 is when we were actually able to get a lot of grant support and some webinar donations and some Facebook pledges. Very much appreciated. What we're doing with those funds now is we're moving forward to put educational content into our doctor's offices and into hospitals, as well as patient care packages. So all of that is starting to go out. You can see that in that COGS category. We've just begun rolling that out, and we expect that to keep moving as we move forward in 26. In addition, we're going to be using those funds to spearhead and start off our annual annual event in 27. Go to the next slide. Excellent. Want to give a big thank you to our donors. We have our visionary donor, Mark and Lisa K. Lemons. Couldn't be here without you. You really were able to give us that Kickstarter to move forward and provide this educational material. Our champions, Patricia Stott, Tammy Glaves, Martin and Joanne Van Leuven. Again, we wouldn't be here without you. Without your support, especially in the beginning, they are as critical as Melanie and Rebecca were to get this train on the tracks and moving. And to all of our wonderful friends, we appreciate everything and every dollar you're giving us to help us get moving. And of course, as a treasurer, I would be remiss if I didn't ask for some support for our programs. We are 100% volunteer staffed and driven. as a good nonprofit, as we move forward, our 5-year plan is to have somebody who is salaried so we continue this program going forward. And we want to start that in 20, like I said, in 29 is our goal. We would love for additional funds so we can help get our community going. We can help get our educational materials into the clinics, and we can get our big program launched off the ground in 27. That program is so important for our people who are with tethered cord to get together and speak to each other about what goes on in their life and to feel camaraderie. But it's also so important for our physicians to get together and talk about best practices and latest research and what's going on. So it's a twofold reason why we need this conference, and we're really looking for participation from anybody that can help. And there's a QR code, or you can go to our website to donate. Thank you again.
Thank you, Courtney. We're going to leave this slide up here just in case anyone feels inspired. And also, those 3 bullet points there. And if anyone has questions, now we have time for like some questions and answers. So anyone here who's participating, you can, I believe, raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat if you have questions for any one of the board members here about our programs, any of our initiatives, whether that's upcoming or things that we've done this year, like a recap. Please put those in the chat, and we're happy to speak. We have a little extra time to speak to those. But these 3 things are very exciting that we're working on. Request resources for your local hospital or clinic. I know when I was diagnosed, there was no doctor's office that I walked into that had like a pamphlet, a signage, anything that said, this is what tethered cord is. We've created that. We have that available to print out and take to your clinics. And that's a real grassroots effort that anyone could get started, pretty low lift today. So that's something you can do and request resources, and we will send you that, or we will, in the mail for your office, or, personally, you can print it out yourself and help us out. Grant opportunities is something, this is just like we mentioned on the volunteer slide. We're all average folks. We are not grant writers. So this is something that we're always looking for. If you see an opportunity out there in the wild, if you hear of one through your workplace, many workplaces have corporate giving programs. They already have those dollars earmarked to give away. We want to know about it. We would like that money to keep these initiatives going. So if you are employed at a company, please ask if they have foundational grants, if they have charitable giving programs. Sometimes it's matching dollar for dollar. We would love to be involved and in business with those programs. Local sponsorship opportunities in your area. We've talked about getting sort of like a 5K race going and doing local little hybrid pop-up races. So these are things that we're thinking about and planning in the future. We just need those volunteers to help us run those things. And finally, this is pretty easy, but what you're doing today, attending our events, participating in them, asking questions, raising your hand, and letting us know where you're at and what you need helps us drive the next program. So if we don't have questions tonight, that's fine, and we can end early. But I just want to invite to anyone else on our board, if there was something that came up that we didn't mention today, now is the time to speak. To speak now or forever hold your peace. Yeah, we covered a lot tonight. We covered a lot. And we're really excited about sort of the initiatives in the in-person conference that we have planned for 2027. It's a huge undertaking with a board this size to get it connected. But again, with the medical advisory board and with y'all's, I believe that it can be really successful. Something we've also talked about as a group is establishing a tethered cord awareness day. Again, it doesn't exist, and it should. So we don't know what that day will be yet, but it's something that we're working towards to sort of, again, unify our voice and vision and just wave our flag and let people know that we're here, whether it's clinicians or just like the public at large. So yeah, I want to thank everyone who attended tonight, and all of the resources, again, I'll drop in the chat, are available on our website. And that's really like the point. If you're looking for an event, if you're looking for what's coming up next, our event calendar will always tell you whether it's a webinar, whether it's a meeting like this, the support groups, Tethered Tuesdays, first, second, third, fourth Tuesdays of the month, we are always here. Come drop in, see what we're all about. You can ask questions in the Tether Tuesday support group. And if you'd like to volunteer, drop into one of those and we're happy to talk to you, whether Rebecca's facilitating or I'm here. We would love to hear where you're at and what you're able to contribute and what your needs are. So I want to thank everyone who presented today, Kaylee and Rebecca and Danielle and Courtney. Like I said, we couldn't do this without everybody showing up day after day. And it means a lot to me, this organization. And again, like I get better care from hearing everyone else's story. So it's very personal. All right. That will conclude our annual report. Stay tuned July 14th for our physical therapy webinar. We hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Millie, and thank you everybody for coming.